Hello, hello. We're here with the boy Shadow20z, Wonderkind, multiple time homie and champion of many places and TWT finalist. Hope you're doing good. Can you introduce yourself for us, my man?
Hi, I'm Shadow20z, also known as Marquis Jordan. I'm from Chicago, and I'm a professional Tekken player.
It's very interesting that you get to you say that, right? You get to say I'm a professional Tekken player, and there's a lot of conversation about what that can mean to be a professional Tekken player. What do you define? How do you look at yourself and say I'm a professional Tekken player? What pieces of your life have said yes? I can be able to put this stamp on myself and say yes, I am a professional Tekken player.
Um, to me, I would say being able to call myself a professional Tekken player, in that aspect, I would say it's just traveling for so many years, making, I make pretty decent money from it. It's a passion of mine as well, and so, yeah, I call that a profession. Having that passion, putting time in it, and actually being good at it as well.
How much? So you say putting time into it, having a passion for. It. I think we all can relate to having a huge love for this game and the trials that we do. But what do you? Well, how much do you play on a daily basis, Shadow? Like, can you give us an idea of what your training regimen looks like?
As far as playing, there are definitely days where I don't play as much as I should, but just because I'm not playing doesn't mean I'm not like studying. I do a lot more watching these days, studying and just thinking, coming up with new ideas and new game plans. And of course, I test them out in tournament. I play maybe 2 to 3 hours a day. Sometimes maybe I'll split it up. I'll play early in the day and then late at night. It all depends on how my day is going.
Well, do you have a day job when you're not making all that money in these pots that we got
Uh,
going on all the time? What you doing for the in between times? What's the day look like for you outside of this?
I don't work, so most of my time is just at home playing games. Uh, Spend a lot of time with my dog. I'm not sure if you can see her, but she's next to me. But
No, I can't
yeah,
see the dog right now, but I'm.
yeah, just
You're gonna
chilling.
have to let us know on that one soon. What kind of dog is
I
she?
have a husky.
Ooh, you're one of those.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense for. I feel like it makes a lot of sense for your personality. That when we see you around, like a lot of people will say, "Yeah, Shadow. He's kind of not really one of those like you're not a lone wolf, but like it makes sense that you would have a lone wolf kind of dog." I feel like,
Yeah.
yeah. And your brother Junior, he's a little bit different than you. I feel like I be out there and running these monies out there, these side bets, and he is ready and raring. He's cackling and whatnot. Your boy Linux out there too. There she is. Oh my god, that
Oh, you
is a
see
cute
her?
dog you got right there. Um, uh, who's the older brother out of the two of you?
Junior is older. He's 30 and I'm 24.
So you know what you've done, right? Is when you put Junior, the junior, but he's 6 years older. You know you're just giving us the mix up out here with these names, dog.
Yeah, it's my father's name.
Oh, that makes sense. That makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah.
So who now? I know you play lots and lots of characters. I've seen you play Kazuya, Anna Williams. I've seen you play Zafina, Claudio, and I think those are the main four that I see you play. Which of those would you say are your main characters, and why do you stick to them in tournament?
I would say Claudio for sure is my main character, and then right behind him is Zafina. I played Kazuya originally first, but in tournament and high level, he's very hard and very demanding. So that's why I don't pick him as much. I have to sort of really like feel on point to play him. But Claudio is like I'm always ready with him, as well as Zafina. I played her on Tech Attack 2, her and Anna as a team, and so yeah, that's where they sort of come in, and I'm just very comfortable with Claudio and Zafina.
You feel like Zafina is a lot different than she was in Tekken Tag 2.
Um, I feel like she's the same character, honestly. Movement is nerf, so that sort of stands out for her. She keeps her movement. But she's always like went under things, crushed, had really good backdash, but she wasn't like super strong because her frames weren't very good. But now she has better frames, and so she sort of like shines and like top tier now.
Can you give an example of that? Like when you say she has better frames now, like for me, one of the people that didn't really play Zafina in Tekken 6 or Tag 2, like I don't really know what major is different.
So like I feel like her down 4-1 is better. It tracks to one side. It's +7. A lot of moves in her stances. Like trying to convert from stances in old games was a lot more risky. The frames weren't good. It's hard to go in depth because she has so many moves. But just her cancels and transitions, they're a lot more real in this game, and she can really like force the force you to deal with it.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I was talking to another player recently, and they were talking about how difficult it can be when you have a character that has that much evasiveness, and also when you have those transitions that are hard to deal with and they're so real as well. Like they really give you problems, and I feel like Zafina is really one of those characters. And Claudio, I feel like, is almost the opposite. Like he's almost bland in the sense of his you don't see too many stances. Other when would you consider Stardust a stance? I wouldn't really consider like
I would say it's more of a mechanic than a stance. Similar to how 2D characters have meter. It's sort of that aspect.
right. And how do you choose when you're playing somebody, when you know you're about to play somebody in bracket? Is it just based on character matchup, or is it you're on the day you're feeling like, yeah, Claudio is stronger for me right now, or Zafina is stronger for me right now?
There are definitely days where I feel like I'm playing better with a certain character. But a lot of times in bracket, say like in a top 8, I'm usually playing like high level players at that point. So it all depends on how comfortable I am against that player. So for example, against Anakin, me and him play a lot, and so most of the time I'm using Claudio against him. So in tournament, I feel most comfortable using Claudio against him because that's who I have the most experience against him with. I feel like when I try other characters, he just washes me. But Claudio, I have the best chance.
It's very interesting you say that because it makes me think like if he has a lot of knowledge of the your specific Claudio, that you might think that, oh well, if you break out the Zafina, then that's gonna be the X factor or the unknown factor. But you're saying that his and he always plays Jack in tournament, right?
Yeah.
You're saying that his Jack is just he figures it out too well. Maybe it's not just Jack because I know I've seen him play lots and lots of characters, but like, um, what do you think it is about Anakin's Jack? I guess specifically that makes it so hard to deal with.
Well, it's not even just Jack. It's just him as a player.
Right.
He's so in sync with the character, and he just has so much experience to where he's just ready for a lot of situations, and he's ready to adapt. He knows what his character can and can't do, and so he's just ready.
When you say can and can't do, like, sorry, that hit me different because I'm thinking like, there are some people like I was playing a new character today and I'm trying to do like down forward one in a sidestep versus Devil Jin, and it's just not working out for me. And I'm like, dang, this is not working. And you're just saying that like man, he's got so much knowledge against everything that he all of the things that don't work anymore are known. And it's just it takes so much time to get there, right? And I feel
Yeah.
like you've really gotten there with Claudio and with Zafina. And are there any other characters that maybe you have thought about trying to pick up, but have thought maybe there's just not enough time in the day, or there's not enough time in the month, even to try to pick up that new character and get them tournament ready? Have you just looked at Claudio and Zafina and said, yeah, these are the ones that I'm going to ride out until the end of Tekken 7? Or are there other characters that you've looked at and been like, yeah, I think if I put more time into this character, then I could make them a tournament character, but I just don't have the time?
Well, for me, I have a few characters where I'm willing to use them in tournament. For example, like Lily, Elisa, Xiaoyu, and maybe Josie. Like I'm willing to switch to a character, even though I might not have that much like tournament experience with them. But if I feel like a character can get it done for me, then I'm willing to take that risk. But I think if I had the execution and patience to play like Kazuya full time, then I would. But it's just so demanding, and I kind of like Claudio more than him now. So
What do you like so much about Claudio? I feel like one of the things that really stands out to me about your play with Claudio is how you can make his pokes just really there's so much ambiguous space between his pokes that you make, and I feel like you really shine with that character. um Maybe that has something to do with why you like Claudio.
yeah, so originally I just like Claudio for his design. Like I thought he was really cool looking. But playing him, it's like he's the one character where I always feel in control, even when I'm losing. So it's like I don't know, it just fits me.
I feel you on that. I have a character like that myself, and I have hard times finding the other way, and finding new people and finding new characters. But maybe I've already found the one for me, and I just need to spend some more time on it. Did you ever have when? How long have you been playing competitive Tekken, Shadow? Before I ask you what I was going to ask you.
Um, I started playing Tekken in general during Tag 2, so that was 2012, and I believe I started competing in 2014. My first tournament was Summer Jam.
Dang, dang, Summer Jam 2014. Dang, it's been a minute. So when you were first playing Tag 2, did it take you a really long time to figure out what character you vibed with? I mean, considering there were like what 70 characters in Tag 2 or something like that. How and you said that was your first, probably not your first Tekken, right? But like your first serious Tekken.
Yeah, so like as a kid, I Like I played Tekken before, like Tekken 5. We had an arcade around the corner from my old house and a little store. And so when we'd go to that store, we'd just play Tekken 5 on the arcade for a little bit. Not too long, but just, a few minutes every now and then. But so I knew the concept of Tekken a little bit, but I always liked Kazuya just because he had the blue electricity, like the blue electric when God Fist, and blue is my favorite color. So when I played Tag 2, I started with Kazuya, and then I played Heihachi with him as well. And then I also dabbled with Lee a little bit.
Right. I've seen you play Lee in a tournament before as well. What a high execution character there as well. That oh gosh, just I love the way that Lee plays as well. But I feel the same way about that you do about Kazuya. It's like if I had the time to spend on the character, I would. Or he's so demanding, right? Although I see some people that just like my buddy Justice Spirit, like he gets those counter hits and then the pickups, the micro dashes, and he just has them somehow. And I just don't know if I could spend that kind of time, but you know that's what you do when you play Tekken, right? You got to play
Yeah.
for months to be able to get something right. I think El Papi Big Bird told me it took him about 3 months to be able to do FADCs like nice and consistent for the most part with Akuma, and I was floored by that even because that's pretty high execution for lots of things that you can do in this game. Speaking of the different players that we end up seeing in lots of these brackets, like Justice Spirit and El Papi Big Bird and Anakin and all of them, do you have any players that are like your bracket demons, where you look at the bracket and you're like, that's going to be a really tough one. And it doesn't have to be a North American player. I know you're an international competitor. So if you've got international competitors on your mind, throw that name out there. Whichever person or persons come to your mind when you hear this question about somebody that really sticks and goes, "Ooh, man, that could be a tough matchup."
Um, I don't really I don't really get nervous playing anyone. There are like a few players that I know will probably give me a tough fight, and that's Joey Fury, just because we play so much, and he's just very good at like getting in my head, which is unusual. He's like one of the few players that can actually get in my head. Um, and then Cuddlecore, she's like one of my training partners, and so
Right.
like we have a lot of experience with each other. We sit down and we break things down and go over each other's, matches and stuff. So like we just know each other's play style and how we play a lot. And then Anakin again, he's just like we play a lot as well. And so he's one of the few players that just knows what I want to do as well.
So you said that Cuddle's one of your training partners, you
Yeah.
say, and I have this theory myself that training partners are a really important part of the growth process. And I say that because I recently got somebody that I used to play with the same people when I was playing casually, and we would just be on each other's level, and I grew, but I didn't end up having somebody who could like call me out on my BS and my bad habits on a regular basis until recently. And we were both on that same point. And I really feel like before this player actually like played me and stuff, they were like having a lot of trouble getting into the game, but we were playing each other so much that like they got brought up to the level that I am really quickly, which I think is really cool. But also, I felt like I got myself up there because I'm playing this person who I've played hundreds of games with. Do you feel like training partners are worth their weight in gold, like I do, or do you think that you could probably do what what a training partner would do anywhere on like ranked or player match or with any of the homies?
I think it's good to have at least one person where you can sit down with them and play for hours, and it's like back and forth. You want somebody that can push you, but not only them pushing you, you push them. So when you're making each other better, that's like the best. And so, for example, with me and Cuddlecore, I feel like we're both on like that same level to where whenever we play, it's like neck and neck. And so we're just like calling each other's bad habits out and making each other come up with new things to beat each other. And that's what you want. Someone to force you to come up with new things that helps you evolve as a player.
For sure, for sure. Oh gosh, I had a thought. I had a thought, and I lost the thought. Damn. I um, dang it. It was gonna be a good segue, but is what it is. So I hear you saying that yes, it's good to have a training partner. Do you play with your brother a lot as well? Is he one of your training partners, or is that one of the things where like you guys just you grew up playing each other so much that now you does he even live with you anymore?
Yeah, he lives with me.
Okay, okay. So you guys do play each other a lot, or
2019, like before COVID, we played like every day for hours. But since then, we don't play each other too much. But when we play in like tournaments and stuff, we play in the same room, and he's like always in my room. And so we sort of like coach each other, pitch ideas to each other, and give each other, like advice. But as far as playing, we don't play as much as we used to, but we still play every now and then.
word word? Yeah, for some reason that's where I would have thought that like that would be one of the names that you pop up immediately. It was like, oh, my brother, obviously, he's one of my
Yeah.
training partners. But you brought up Cuddlecore, and I've seen on her stream, you know, you two playing quite often, so that made a lot of sense. But it was really interesting that you singled out Cuddle there, and um, you said that you guys like watch each other's replays and stuff like that. Do you, as a competitive player, do you think it's more do you think it's more desirable and valuable to watch all your replays, or is it just like you try to focus on the ones that are your biggest losses or somewhere in between there?
I think it's important to watch the matches where, let me see. I think every match is important, but like some people watch where they lost. And that's important too, but you also have to watch where you won because you see what worked. And sometimes that's very important. Finding what works because the things that work don't work on everyone. And then the things that do work, it's like it's very important to put that in your game plan because if you see it working consistently, then it might be something that's really good. But as far as going back and watching, uh, I think it's good not to get hung up on the past matches. Just focus on improving and finding that one thing that really cost you a match. And that's something that a lot of players don't do. Like when I watch my gameplay, I notice that I let people mash against me a lot, and so I've been working on my offense and keep preventing people from mashing. And so that's just something I'm working on as a player.
That is really interesting that you say that because, like I said before, like your I haven't said this to you, I don't think, but I came to an epiphany through watching your gameplay not too long ago, and it was we have this thing in the commentary community. I'm sure you've heard it. We call it shadow time. When there's 15 seconds left on the clock, Shadow20z is playing. Shadow20z is in control. Like it's first of all, it's so common for you to get to that time because you're such a patient player and you leave so much space, ambiguous timings and whatnot a lot. And I was watching you play. I remember specifically you're on Fire and Brimstone, and there's not that many seconds left on the clock, and you're not you're not throwing lows. Like lows are not the important thing for you in this particular time. You're winning with jabs, almost all highs. And I'm like, how is this man making it so that he can succeed without I mean, mids make sense because it's like, okay, well, they're going to try to duck, right? And end of the round kind of situation, ducking is very, very possible. But you're winning with these highs, and I'm like, how is that happening? How is he not afraid that his jabs are going to get ducked and punished and crushed and things like that? But I realized like it's your timing that really, really sets you apart and really helps you with that that X factor that you have. I hear it from so many people that they say how difficult it is to match your timings. Is there is there a secret there? Do you have like an internal metronome that you click on and off? You got like an earpiece telling you now or something like that? What do you have some sort of like training regiment that you do to specifically mix your timings and things like that? What is that?
Uh, well, I do like the last like 15 seconds of the match. Usually in that time, a lot of people they like panic, especially when the life bars are like close. They 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 don't know what to do to close out the round or maintain like a life lead or prevent me from stealing the life lead. And it's like I don't really have a game plan in that moment. It's sort of just like sometimes I just feel like I know what to do to win.
Damn. It it's you got that divine intervention. You just know. And I think that's really how do you feel like you gained that instinct? Is it just playing the game so much or you just have that other wavelength?
I'm not sure honestly. Sometimes I just feel like I get lucky, but I think it just boils down to just being comfortable in that moment. Especially if my opponent isn't comfortable. That gives me a big advantage.
Yeah, your comfort level, your stoic chill vibes have been a mystery of the community for so long. We you between you and Anakin, it's you guys are just you're stone cold. No, you Anakin and Victim, honestly, just like so like bam, like you just locked in and you don't react. Not to say that you don't react, but it just seems like nothing really phases you immediately, which is so powerful because you have the ability to be that comfortable, like you're saying, and is I know I keep asking you that comfortability. What helped you create that? Were you always that comfortable? Were you always that cool headed when you were competing, or is there something that you did and discovered about yourself or the process that really helped you mellow out?
So, in my opinion, I think part of what helps me stay calm, like competing and everything, is I have experience competing in like sports. So, like, I did taekwondo as a kid. I was a
Hey, me
black
too.
belt, and then I also swam. I was a lifeguard. I competed in high school for swimming. So it's like I have a lot of experience competing, and I don't really get nervous too much.
Interesting. Really interesting. Really interesting. So so there aren't that many competitive obstacles in your mind, but at some point there had to have been in your Tekken journey, you had to have gone through a plateau process and epiphanies and plateaus and epiphanies, and a lot of us intermediate players are on that stage. We're stuck right below top 8 or below top 3 or something like that quite often, and we feel like if somebody could just give me a nugget from the heavens and tell me exactly what I need to be able to get to the next step, I would make it. And funny enough, do you remember a conversation that we had at CEO 2021? I walked up to you right before my pools and I said, "Hey, what would you say to somebody like me who's been going 0 and 2 for 3 months?" Do you remember what you said to me?
I don't remember what I said, I'm
Damn,
sorry.
son. How dare you? I remember you said, "Just win."
Okay,
And
that's not
I
really
went
what I said.
I went 4 and 2 in there. I was one round away from making it out of pools. And one of those losses with Genghis Don, so you got to hold that. So I want to know if you've got something like that for our people. Was there ever an epiphany that you were able to think about and go, "Oh, this really unlocked something in me"? I'm sure you had multiple of those, but can you give a little bit of a nugget of knowledge to the homies out there that are struggling?
Um, this is a hard one, honestly, because I feel like everyone is different and they have different different things that maybe are holding them back. Um, I think the biggest thing is trying to find what you think is holding you back and just trying to work on it. Um, Everybody's different, so it's sort of hard to pinpoint that. Um, for me, let me think of something. All right, I think I got one. So,
Okay.
for me, in tag two, I was really struggling with breaking throws, and so for a while, I feel like people would just try and throw me a lot, and so I practiced with Junior, and we sat there, and I told him just keep throwing, just throw a lot, and that really helped me. And so like when I got to tournaments, I was breaking throws, and so that really helped me go to the next level because in high level players, if they notice you aren't breaking throws, they will throw you, and so that really helped me a lot. It's just like being able to break throws, it opens up a lot more of like a defensive game. Like your opponent can't really like throw you too much, so they have to find other ways to open you up. That's just one example.
So I think what's interesting about what you said there was the method in which you overcame that obstacle. You said, "Hey, bro, help me by trial by fire." I did this thing not too long ago where I was trying to really work on my close game and lateral movement, side to side. And so I had this I think I played a first to 25 or a first to 50 with my training partner, and I was like, all right, we're not allowed to backdash this whole time. And I don't really know if it did that much in the long run, but I felt like that was one of the things that I needed to work on. And so I was like, yeah, we got to work on this. And one of the things that my training partner was having a lot of struggles with was actually believing in side steps and things like that. So it really forced them to do it. So I feel like it had success, but maybe I would want to do that a little bit more or go at it a different way, because I feel like, and you can kind of chime in here. I feel like there's way too much emphasis put on backdashing as a defensive and um as a strategy in this game. I feel like it's seen at like people look at Korean backdash as like, man, if you're not doing this, then you are suboptimally playing the game. You could be doing so much better because the backdash is so important. Can you chime in on that there?
So when it comes to backdashing, it's good to be able to backdash, but you have to have a purpose for why you're backdashing. Are you backdashing to, just create space and hope your opponent whiffs? Or are you backdashing because you're in a situation where they have the advantage, like say they have plus frames, and you have to guess, but backdashing will eliminate, a few options. So it all depends on why you're backdashing. Um, if you're just sitting there backdashing the whole game for no reason, that can sort of screw you over sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's I struggle with that too because like when I'm playing the game and I'm like backdashing, I'm like, okay, I feel like I'm relatively in control because I'm not in the face of my opponent and there's not buttons being pressed all over the place and stuff like that. And like I said, I recently picked up a new character and I started playing ranked, and my rank is getting lower because I don't really know the character that well, and it when when you're playing in those lower ranks, a lot of times it gets those close range situations are the most volatile. Those are the situations where it's the most hectic. And so it's like I want to backdash and get out of that so that I can reset my brain and like slow it down because the fast-paced game of being right in front of each other and brawling has always been something that I really struggled with. Um do you feel that way at all, or do you think that that's just like a play style thing for me, where like that's where I'm least comfortable at because I'm more comfortable at a mid range, or do you feel like that's kind of a thing for everybody, where that clinch type of space is really just super tense and causes a lot of anxiety might be the word, but maybe the stress.
Um, no, I think that's normal. I think everybody has sort of that range they want to play at. So like me, I like being at maybe like range 1, 1.5. But it also depends on the character you play. Some characters are just better at certain ranges. So yeah, but other than that, I think playing other characters helps overcome that as well.
What do you mean by that? Playing other character has helps overcome that. Like it gives you more insight as to what their possibilities are in those situations. Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah, so for example, uh playing Claudio, he's okay at range 0. He's pretty good at that range, but like he's really good at range 1 because he has a lot of moves where he can just like throw them out. Like back one has really good range.
Hmm.
Forward three, forward 1+2, back 4-2. Like he has all these long range moves. So playing at that range is really good. But for example, when I play Anna, I like to play at range 0. I like to be in their face, and a lot of people notice that my Anna is a lot more aggressive than my other characters. Uh, but that's just, I feel like that's the nature of the character,
Yeah.
being in their face. And so it sort of gets you more comfortable when you have to play at that range with other characters.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. You wanna you wanna be optimal for the play style of the character that you're playing as
Yeah,
well. And maybe Yoshimitsu's just not a range zero character. Maybe the other characters that I'm playing. Oh, I do remember when I was playing Nina, I was like, oh man, range zero. Down forward
yeah,
one, and all of this, down four. Like, forget about it.
yeah.
You do not want to be pressing on me.
I
Yeah.
think Yoshimitsu, uh, playing further back is good. And I think he has the tools and options to play at range 0, but you have to find out what those are and sort of discover a game plan for that. When your opponent is forcing you to play up close, you want to have a set of moves that you use or a specific game plan to where you're not uncomfortable in that situation at least.
Yeah, like have a way to if what you're doing is playing range 0 and you want to have control of the match. You want to be able to make ways to you want to have sequences and game plans to be able to make that happen. Yeah, that makes a lot of
Yeah.
sense. And of course, that means playing the character for a long time. So when you
Mhm.
pick up a new character, might not happen for a minute. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, do you when you're playing in tournaments right before? I notice you're not usually hanging around in the venue that often. You're not watching all of the pools or stuff like that. Do you have like any rituals that you do before a tournament? You got like gum that you chew. You like Big Red or juicy fruit. You do any hand exercises or something like that? Anything that helps you stay in the game?
Not really. I usually just sort of chill. Um, I don't hang around the venue too much, but I try to go there maybe a few minutes before my match, maybe like 30 minutes before, just to check out the area. But other than that, I sort of just chill with my friends, stay with myself.
Word, word. Yeah, you're well, honestly, man. I've seen you at a few events, and I think I've only actually talked to you one time because you are always talking to your friends, and I'd be like, and this is crazy because I don't know if you know this about me, but I talk to fucking everybody. I don't care who you are. I will walk up to you and I will talk to you and I will say what's up and I will say, but for some reason you got this aura around you sometimes where I'd be like, maybe I just don't want to bother him right now. Is that intentional or you just or is that just me projecting?
No, that's not intentional. I don't mind talking to anyone, but I am just the type of person to sort of stay to myself. I'm sort of that way too. I don't really like to like go up and talk to people because I feel like I'm bothering them. But
Hmm.
I don't mind people talking to me.
Word. Okay. I'll remember that. Are you going to CEO?
Yes,
Excellent, excellent. I will see you there, and I will be saying what's up to you. I'm gonna look for more words of wisdom because I'm entering bracket again, and I'm already letting you know. Last time I almost made it out of pools with some Shadow20z. I've had some growth, and I'm gonna be looking for some more of that now. So get your training regimen ready for your coaching, and write something down good because I'm gonna need it because I'm trash.
got you.
Speaking of players that are not trash, much like yourself, there are some players that are in the North America scene that don't really get a lot of spotlight. There are players like you mentioned the top players that they see a lot of sponsorship and they get a lot of good results and stuff. But there are other players that are doing really well, but aren't really getting the shine that maybe they deserve. Can you think of somebody that maybe even in the online scene, in the North America scene in general, that maybe fits that description where they could really have a spotlight shine on them, but just nobody has shined it yet?
Um, as far as players I think are underrated, I think Ty is really good. Um, I know people know he's really good, but like I think he has the potential to be really great. But I think he sort of gets in his own head, and I know he's also pretty new. So once he gets that experience, I think he can really be great. Um, another player, there's quite a few. Um, I think fits in that boat as well.
For sure, for sure.
Um, um, you got Jumanji. He's also working really hard and it's pretty underrated as well.
He is
And
working really
then
hard, especially for.
yeah,
I mean, I follow the Yoshimitsu players religiously, and for the longest time, it was a problem where just it wasn't that there weren't any Yoshimitsu players that were good. It was that they wouldn't compete, and that's still the problem for the majority of the high tier Yoshimitsu's. And I'm really loving watching Jumanji put in all this time into competing, and he's gotten lots of really good placements recently. And he's a coach of mine, and it's It's something because he's got his way of playing that I don't really think is my way of playing, but I see how he has kind of optimized himself even outside of playing Kunimitsu, and he's him really sticking to Yoshimitsu. I think that's really admirable due to the fact that we know that Yoshimitsu is harder to play with, and he himself says Yoshi's harder to win with, but I like to play him anyway, and I like
Yeah,
that about his play style. I like I really think it's really cool that you have such success with Claudio because I don't think that anybody's tier list, no matter whose tier list it is, I don't think anybody's tier list has Claudio as an S tier character, but you make him an S tier character, or the combination between you and Claudio creates an S tier player
I think
style
Claudio is S
situation. I
tier.
think that's so cool.
I think he can be S tier.
In the right hands, you mean?
Yeah, he
Uh,
has
you've
the
de-
tools to win.
You've definitely shown it. You've definitely shown it throughout your tenure in the Tekken 7. Was that the I can't remember. I know I've been watching lots of Tekken 7 since Tekken 7 came out, but was that the first character that you stuck to in Tekken 7, or was there another one that you started with?
Yeah, he's the first new character. I mean, I played like Kazuya before I learned
Right.
Claudio, but like when Tekken 7 actually came out on console, that's when I decided to learn Claudio.
Okay. Yeah, it's so interesting. You stuck with them for gosh, 6, 7 years, however long this game's been out on console. Um all right. So, we're nearing our sundown time here. If there was one character that you would take off the roster in this game, it's really interesting the amount of different answers I've gotten for this. I think I have not had even one repeat of an answer so far, which is actually really interesting because you're like my ninth interview. If there was one character that you could delete from the roster out of the 52 character roster, which one would it be?
Hmm. I don't want to like choose the obvious like Akuma and Geese and stuff. I feel like everyone wants them gone, kinda. Um, as 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 far as like a Tekken character, I would get rid of. I would probably choose Fang.
Really? Why Fang?
He's very obnoxious to fight against. He's just very annoying.
It seems like he's always at range 0. Like you're always in his range for his obnoxious pressure. Is that it?
Okay, so fighting Fang, he's able to play keep out and like run away from you. He can just evade everything, and then he can also just like overwhelm you with all his pokes and everything. And he has a ton of moves that just sort of puts him in your face. And then he doesn't have to respect anything as well. He has so many defensive options and panic moves to where the opponent has to be aware and they sort of have to hesitate or overextend to sort of like keep him in check. And he's just very, very just obnoxious to me.
Yeah, no, I feel that heavily, especially in the Central Florida community. I got a Fang or two in my locals that I just like, y'all could take the day off when coming to bracket today. It's all good. We don't need having your mountain of a back slapping me for a 13 frame punish today. I'll be good. Um, so I want to thank you again for the time that you've shared with me here. I want to thank you for spending time out of your day, and I want to thank you for entering our community brackets. I want to thank you for that heavily because it's really important to the growth of the scene that our players are getting all sorts of experience and all sorts of high level competition because that's really what a lot of people say is like super important to them is like their tournament experience has really gotten them to where they are, not necessarily being a ranked monster or having those offline sessions, but like the tournament experiences. And without you, the shining star player and group of players that show up, we wouldn't have as much of an audience and we wouldn't have as much people in the bracket, and then things would kind of not have as much weight to them. But we had a 65 person bracket a couple of nights ago, and I'm really hoping that we can keep that growth up in the scene. It's great. And so I know you don't make it every week, but thank you so much for showing up to these brackets and competing and participating. It really does do a lot for us as event organizers and people that are trying to keep things going for the community.
Yeah, I mean, I appreciate you guys just throwing hosting these. Like, it's great practice. We have a lot of tournaments coming up, and so it's like a good way to stay sharp. And I wish more people entered, but I mean, it's still great the numbers that we get. I try to enter every week, but sometimes I just have days where I want to relax and stuff.
For
So
sure.
yeah,
Yeah, we get that. We get that totally. And like I said, thank you so much once again. Shadow20z Marquis, thank you so much for joining us here. I've been Foxhound with another player spotlight for the North America community. Thank you so much for joining us again. And I will see you around, my dude.
yeah. See you at CEO.
Yes, sir. Peace out. Ow.